Hi everybody, this is Belinda from Belinda's Book Nook, and I am here to do my wrap up for my October reads. And I need to get it done because guess what? Time is a ticking. Before you know it, we'll be in 2021 and I'll be like, what? And the longer that I wait, I realize that I can't remember what I read, despite my notes that I write down, because I haven't updated them in my book journal yet. And that's not a good thing because you lose it after a while. I don't know about you all. I remember things because I write them down. So, without further ado, I will start telling you about what I did read. First one is When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole. I had not read, I wanted to read Alyssa Cole for a long time, hadn't gotten to it, so I was really super excited that I was able to, read one. This is a new genre for her. It was a thriller. It was about this girl named Sydney Green in Brooklyn, born and raised. And I am going to do a separate video to talk about this, but the long and the short is that it was a book about a lot of things, but a very serious issue about gentrification. And I liked that she pulled in, because I did flag them, some historical things that I'm not aware of. So I am going to go back and look some of these things up to see if they are, to make sure that the things are, some things people say that, is fiction, but there's a lot of stuff that they write in novels that are true, and I want to know them. I'm always so curious, and I love when books make me curious about things I didn't know about. I'm fairly well aware of gentrification, but some historical things that she mentioned in here were a little troublesome, and I want to kind of follow up on them. So I think the story started a little slow, if I'm going to be critical about it, but it did pick up, and it did get its thriller-esque aspects to the story. And I will definitely do a separate book chat to talk about it, so, peek and see. I am going to say this, that my book chats, I usually will say spoiler free, but I think that I probably, in order to talk any more than I'm talking now about it, I will probably have some spoilers in it. So I hope some of you will at least check out the video. But I understand if you want to wait until after you read the book. I won't reveal everything, but I know that I'll say some things that you won't read on the back of the cover of the book. So there's that. So that was one. And then the next one I read with Patrice, and this is Americana by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. We waited. I know, at least for myself, I don't know about Patrice, I was waiting for the dust to settle on this one, and I always wanted to read it, but I just knew that there was a lot of hype. This I too will do a separate book talk about. This is madness. My husband just laughs at this. I can't even really put it on the bookshelf because it's, I have to take these out before I put them in there. But I do this when I want to capture notes, especially when I'm doing a buddy read, so that I know on my weekly updates I have something to talk about. I enjoyed this book. I enjoyed the experience of doing it with Patrice to get another perspective on the book. We had a lot of similar reactions to some things in the book. I'll give you my thoughts on the book chat, but a good book. I definitely think it was a good book. The other one, I forgot to put the cover on so you get to see the beautiful cover, is the Frederick Douglass book that I read with the lovely Alba. And I still have the flags in here. Wow, is this a chunkster? Took 2 months, but it's done. Check. One of the books I wanted to read this year, so I'm super excited about that. So it just, it makes me, it's so sad. When the jacket's on, you won't see it. I wanted to do a book chat on this, right? But I'm going to be really honest with you. I think that this book warrants it because of there's so much content in it. But what I feel like is I won't be able to capture all my takeaways. And I feel like I'll look back at the video and be disappointed. And so that's why I'm reluctant to do one, even though I feel I should do one on this book. I think it was good. I think there was definitely stuff that he really just could not, we could have done without in the book. So you could have taken a little bit of the volume out of the book from this. I do think that he started out saying that he wanted to basically capture information about Frederick that wasn't necessarily promoted or discussed in his autobiographies. So I think that warrants a reason for wanting to read this in addition to the autobiographies. I have yet to read the autobiographies. I do have them, and they will be in my next year list to get to. It was a long experience. I've never had a book that spanned 2 months like that. And, there were times where I was getting information overload. There were times where I was like, this is so good. There's so much information. There's so much there. And I definitely respect the amount of time and to create and to research and to put together a book like this. I think it took him at least 10 years to do it. So props for that. But I'm really nervous about doing a book chat on it. Just being honest. Do you guys ever feel that way? I just feel like some books can easily be done, and other books I feel like I'm not going to do it justice, and I'm not going to capture all my takeaways. So I don't know. I may or may not do one, which will really disappoint me that I didn't, because I spent so much time with this book. But I feel like, where do I begin? I'm hoping Alba would do one, because her analysis each week were just lovely. I loved being with her every week and getting her updates. And, she is just a brilliant reader and friend. And I feel like I really had to do this book with her, and I'm glad I did. So I'm hoping she does do I'm already giving her another video. If she might have already done it. I haven't been looking at videos, but I think that she would do it really good justice. So, so there's that done, right? And then I had one that I told you guys is going to be my surprise, and I'm always going to keep one, because if I do these Friday reads, you're going to be like, well, blah, blah, blah. Well, I cracked up, because the minute I said it, I was like, what do you guys think? I'm going to do that. I'm going to have a secret one. And my friend Natalie over at Curious Reader sent me a text. And she said, sent a message to me, and she said, yeah, I think that, something to the effect that it was a good idea, and that she's reading right now Transcendent Kingdom by Agassi. And I'm like, oh, really? And I just was like, oh my God, I want to tell her that is my surprise book. But I couldn't, and I told my husband, I go, oh, my friend Natalie, I didn't want to lie to her. I just didn't say that, yeah, that's my book, because I wanted to keep it a secret to everybody, and she was not getting privy to that information. So yes, Natalie, I was reading it as well, but I didn't want to say anything. I'd be curious to see what you think about this book. And I'm still sore about the Jenna sticker. I'm so sore. I'm going to put my hand right there. Okay. This book, I'm still kind of processing. I think that, after coming from homegoing, this was definitely a different, a whole different book, and I think there was a lot of pressure for her to come up with another, bestseller. Everybody was waiting and, excited. And then when we saw the cover, we were all like, oh God, even the cover is going to be great. I liked that this book explored depression, suicide, family dynamics. I truly appreciated that oh my God, I'm getting ready to blank on her name. The main character, that she, Gifty, that she was a scientist. I'm really liking, I want to see more characters that have different roles in society, that aren't always just, I felt it was relevant to the story why she chose this line of profession that she did. But I think that it was just so, for me as a person of color, to see that and hear her talk about her experiences in the lab and things like that was refreshing. So there's that. So I may do a book chat on this one as well. I haven't really gathered all of my thoughts on this fully. I think if I remember correctly, I think if I remember correctly, the ending didn't sit well. It was too abrupt. I'm trying to make sure I'm not saying anything too much. So I enjoyed the story, and I felt my initial reaction was that, and I hope I remember this if I do the book chat, if I don't remember that I said this, but I think that I felt like I heard an editor saying, chop, chop, we need this book now. We were supposed to get it out XYZ, and you need to get it. And she just wrapped it up. That's how I feel. And if you've read it, let me know what you think. If you thought it was abrupt. You don't have to go into details or still spoil it for anybody else that might be reading comments. But that was one of the things that I felt like happened in the story. But I really did think it was a good story. It was very engaging and a topic that's very important. So that was that. The other thing that I read was the graphic novel, The Ichiro by, oh boy, I'm not on that page, am I? Ichiro, and it, one of the things that I thought about that particular book is, or graphic novel rather, is that I really enjoyed the graphics in it. I think, you know, when you read graphic novels, you have to, when you review them, you're reviewing not only just the written word, you're reviewing your experience with the imagery. And it's important. I mean, because if you're going to present it in that fashion, I feel, you know, particularly picky about that. And I think Ryan Inzana, he wrote it and illustrated it, did a fantastic job of the imagery. And there's a shift in it too when we went into a story within the story. So I really appreciated that. So I will probably do a separate one with that. I need to get some more graphic novels so I could do a substantive one. But I probably will do that in a graphic novels book chat type thing. So there was that. October was great. I thought it was a good month of reading. I had some great times with Patrice and Alba with the buddy reads. I was, you know, engaged with the thriller by Alyssa Cole, and I think that I did pretty good. I think that that was a good reading month, and I will be getting those videos to you probably sooner than later. I'll try to record a couple of them today if I can. Anyway, I hope you all are well. Wash your hands, wear your mask, social distance, and be kind to each other. Bye.